Colorado. We are so excited to have you here. Marlon gives his regards as well. So good to see you. These are our legislators, half women. Dr. Biden, it's such an honor to meet you. We have your door.
We about to go back out. Grab your...
Well, hello, everyone. We are so excited to give a warm bipartisan welcome to the First Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden. She told me on the way in, she said, I'm flying back to D.C. because tomorrow I have to teach. Now, that is dedication. That is dedication. Dr. Jill Biden, thank you for traveling to Colorado, and thank you for your exciting work you're doing to support our nation's workforce, our people, the skills, the talents people have to succeed. It helps people get ahead, and it helps prepare our economy for success. I also want to thank, and many of you are here, our bipartisan leadership in the legislature on the issues of workforce. We have Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera. We have Community College of Aurora President Dr. Mordecai Brownlee, Dr. Joe Garcia, and so many others, the head of our Department of Labor, Joe Barella. Many legislators, you're going to hear from our legislators shortly, so we are excited to highlight both the work that we have done over the last couple of years and the work that they are considering and moving forward with now. And I would add, Dr. Biden, a lot of it is possible because of ARPA, because of the American Recovery Act that put our budget in a situation where we're able to do these things. You know, Colorado has one of the strongest economies in the nation, and we're proud of that success. But that means its own set of challenges. And we have 2 job openings for every unemployed person. And we also need to make sure that the skills of those who are unemployed or looking for work can match the needs of the workforce so they can earn a good living and work good jobs. And our economy can thrive. So to continue our economic growth and support the historic investments made by mentioned ARPA, also the bipartisan infrastructure law in Colorado is positioning ourselves for success on that. Inflation Reduction Act, the CHIPS Act. We also have a major effort through the legislature to attract advanced manufacturing to our state. But all of these rely on a workforce that has the skills and resources that our economy needs to thrive. And in Colorado, we're leveraging federal funds and opportunities with matching funds to really move the needle on workforce readiness. In 21 and 22, thanks to the American Rescue Plan Act, we expand work-based learning opportunities, apprenticeships, as well as invested in navigational services to help job seekers have access to the skills and training they need that help them get the next level of job. I'm proud we also used our Governor's Emergency Education Relief Fund, or GEAR, to invest in innovative programs like Northeastern Junior College, where we're using the funding to expand Spanish language programs and outreach and career programs in nursing and solar energy, 2 fields that are really growing in northeastern Colorado. We also doubled down on that work in our state workforce by making skills and expertise interchangeable with degree requirements for our state hiring. I did an executive order around skills-based hiring for the state. We employ 31,000 people. Almost all of those jobs now are skills-based hiring. So we're very excited about that work as well. Working with the legislature, we're so proud of Opportunity Now, $85 million in grant funds from ARPA to expand our innovative regional talent development initiatives across the state. We also did ARPA funding to create the Care Forward Colorado program, which made it completely free for Coloradans that pursue healthcare-related degrees like EMTs, CNAs, phlebotomists, medical and dental assistants. Could the students who took advantage of that raise their hand? I saw them earlier. Those are some of the students who took advantage of that. You know, when we rolled it out, Madam First Lady, at Community College of Aurora, I met one young man studying to be an EMT. He said, with the money I saved from the EMT program, I was able to fix my car to be able to get to class. And so that's the kind of difference that it makes for people to be able to access these fields. And we need people with these skills for all of us. So now, working with many of the leaders in this room that you're going to hear from, we're working to continue these efforts to expand zero-cross credentials in other in-demand fields, both private and public sector fields. So early childhood educator, law enforcement, fire and forestry, nursing and construction trades. These are areas that, through our analysis, we've identified that we have real gaps in terms of the number of people who have the skills needed to power our economy and fill these critical fields. And working with the legislature, we want to make them zero cost. And the other thing to keep in mind is our students know this is like a real zero cost. It's not like you advertise one thing and get another. So it's not like it's just free tuition. It's textbooks, it's fees. So it's like a real zero cost that breaks down barriers. And we're not stopping there. We're also addressing the decline in high school graduates who are pursuing some kind of training beyond high school. We're working with the legislature on a $1,500 scholarship for any student in the class of 2024 to pursue training after high school. So, but not just the conventional four-year college. They can use it for that, but a really a much broader set of eligibility, so they can use it to get skills and training in all the new ways that that exist to be able to succeed. And these investments are really targeted towards in-demand jobs to make sure we're also responding to the needs of the business community. So all of this work that you're going to hear about today from our Republican and Democratic thought leaders and partners is about creating new opportunities for students who often either can't afford a four-year degree or it's just not the right pathway for them in terms of their lives or where they are or what they want to do, but they still want to pursue their dreams of succeeding in our great state and our country. A lot of it also applies to people who are making a midlife shift and want to enter a new profession, or perhaps somebody who's a homemaker and wants to re-enter the workforce after raising kids and isn't sure where to start. It's about how people can build on skills while they're on the job, keep moving their career forward so that they can earn more, but also contribute at a higher level to all of our success and our economic success. So I'm very excited to hear from this group today, very thoughtful legislative leaders and content area experts. I want to thank Dr. Biden for joining us in Colorado today. We also want to thank the White House and the Biden administration's investment in our future success, and we hope that you can highlight some of these, some of this work that we're doing in Colorado as you discuss some of these issues nationally. With that, I am so honored to introduce the First Lady of the United States of America, Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, please. Thank you, Governor Polis, Jared, for your kind words and for your leadership. You know, you and Marlon are working tirelessly for the people that you serve. And it's my honor to be back in Colorado with you all today. And honestly, I mean, that welcome was, I mean, what a way to start a day. I mean, I think that was the best welcome I've ever had. So thank you. I truly appreciate it. And thank you to the Lieutenant Governor for joining us today. Thank you. And I'm grateful to all the leaders here, really, all of you, for taking the time to be with me, with my staff, and you know, just for being here this morning and for doing all that you do. So yesterday, last night, I attended the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. And how many of you saw it? It was like so exciting, wasn't it? It was such a great game. And you know, I'm old enough that I remember when we got Title IX and we fought so hard, right? We fought so hard. And look at where women's sports has come today. So we got to keep working. We got to keep working. So congratulations to both teams. So I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So, you know, we'll have LSU come. But you know what? I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too, because they played such a good game. So, right? So winners and losers, that's sportsmanship. That's good sportsmanship. So throughout the years, my gosh, I've had the opportunity to visit your state many times. I love this state. And I heard tomorrow it's going to snow and I'm going to miss it. So you guys are probably like this audible groan, like, what, snow? But you know, in the East, we haven't had any snow, so I would have loved to have seen it. But anyway, so I came, a couple times when I came, I met with Maggie Utah, who's a dear friend. And I've had the opportunity, you know, to see incredible programs at your community colleges. And after passing historic legislation these past 2 years, the Biden-Harris administration is traveling the country on an Investing in America tour to talk about to people about what it means to all of you. And it's, for your families and your communities. And from new manufacturing jobs to high-speed internet, to better airport safety, to clean water, these new investments are helping leaders in states and in cities and rural areas improve people's lives. So I'm starting my tour right here in Denver. Where to date, like the Gov said, Joe's administration has already announced more than $1 billion to improve the roads and the bridges and roadway safety and major projects right here in Colorado. And he's invested, I'll tell you to clap for that, right? And he's invested hundreds of millions of dollars in clean energy efforts here. So after this today, I'll be heading to Michigan, and then later this week, I'll travel to Maine and to Vermont. So I'm focusing on community colleges and jobs. I mean, really, it's been my life's work. And we need to work together to help our students get the education and the training that they need for the careers that they want. So to do that, I'd like to open with a question. Why have we historically equated success with just a handful of educational pathways? For most people, a high school diploma alone isn't enough to find a great career, right? But they often don't need that 4-year diploma to get, to follow their passion either. And as technology changes so many industries, these kinds of learning paths are more important than ever. Now, I know, you probably know too, community colleges have always been about jobs. And you know that because many of you have worked to build, community colleges throughout Colorado. So maybe you're saying to yourself, okay, Jill, so what's new here? Well, we've added something new to the equation. President Biden, it's so funny to say that, Joe and his administration, are creating millions of jobs in infrastructure, clean energy, and manufacturing. And these positions pay well. And many of them require associate degrees, certificates, registered apprenticeships, or other hands-on, instruction, not 4 years of college. Still, a lot of high school students don't necessarily know how to get from earning their diplomas, right, earning their high school diplomas, to earning a living. And they may not even know what roles are out there. And that's why learning that's connected to careers is the heart of the Biden education pathway. And our vision starts with free, high-quality, universal preschool and goes through high school. I know. We need universal preschool so badly. And then it goes all the way and it provides 2 years of affordable community colleges, and then it connects to jobs. It opens up pathways to a 4-year degree. A lot of my students want to go to 4 years. So it opens that pathway as well. And it's the future of our workforce, how we grow our economy, as Joe likes to say, from the bottom up and the middle out. And these aren't red ideas or blue ideas. You guys know that. They're American ideas. And it's why you've been investing in these pathways for years. And that's why the governor and, oops, sorry.
It's okay. That was pretty close here.
And bipartisan leaders of the General Assembly are coming together to propose a new free job training program. I love that, free. And with your leadership, communities across this state will be able to find the critical workers they need for their schools, for your firehouses and construction sites. With champions from both sides of the aisle, these programs are a great way to find common ground. And that's why Joe, President Biden, is making community colleges and career-connected learning top priority in his 2024 budget. We're going to continue to be partners with you. This state is already a model for our country. And today, I want to thank you for your leadership and ask you to keep going, keep innovating in how you help high schools and colleges work together so that every young person in your city can take advantage of dual enrollment options and get a jump start on a degree. I see you shaking your head, yes. Continue working with local businesses and unions to create hands-on experiences like registered apprenticeships. Invest in free job training, like the one that's on the table right now. And you know how to get this done, but you don't have to do it alone. Joe and his administration are standing with you. Through the Biden education pathway, we can fundamentally change what it means to make a living and make a life here in America. Thank you for being here. You've been great. Thank you. Thank you. So now, I'm excited to hear from more legislators and leaders who are focused on these issues right here in Colorado. So thank you once again. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, go off to the right. Nice to see you. Yeah, I recognize you.
Good morning. I want to start with a warm welcome to everyone who has come today to share in a great conversation with our First Lady. Such an honor to have you here, Dr. Biden.
Thank you.
Along with our governor and our lieutenant governor, I want to just thank the crowd that is here. There's some amazing leaders in this audience, folks who have been a part of our workforce revitalization efforts over this last couple of years, including folks from our education sector, higher ed community colleges, our business, industry, and economic development leaders, labor and trade organizations, and most importantly, the teachers and students who are here to represent what workforce growth and preparation is all about. So again, a round of applause for our students, and I'd ask you to stand. I live up in the high country, Dr. Biden, and there's a lot of snow up there right now. Sorry you're missing out on it.
Take me home with you.
And I worked in public schools, and I worked at our local Colorado Mountain College for years, and saw firsthand how important the connections are between high school and college and workplace. And since coming down here to the Capitol, I'm extremely excited with our focus on your hands were like this when you talked about that togetherness, how we have to work on strengthening the blur by providing career and technical experiences in classrooms, bringing businesses and tech learning into our learning curriculum, and also making sure that students have that chance to earn college credit while they're still in high school and figure out that next step. So I would love to start by introducing you to some of the great leaders in our state and talk through a few of the programs, get their perspectives on what's happening with workforce development, and allow us to have a few minutes for conversation. So jump in whenever you're ready. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Brownlee from Aurora Community College.
Hello, nice to see you.
I have a question for you. How has Care Forward Colorado benefited your students, and how do you expect the legislation around zero-cost credentials to affect your work, particularly in the construction and infrastructure space?
Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity, and Dr. Biden, thank you for being with us. So the Community College of Aurora is one of the most diverse colleges in the state of Colorado. Over 60% of our students are students of color, and remarkably, over 50% of our students are first generation. So as you were just talking about up there, about removing those barriers to academic pathways and certainly social and economic mobility, we're right there on the front lines of doing that work. I would say Care Forward Colorado for us has been transformative. It has paid over $250,000 worth of tuition fees and supplies for our students, serving over 100 students to create those pathways to make them real. And as we even think about House Bill 1246 in our state, just the transformative power of creating more resources and infrastructure to support our students realizing their dreams as they seek to serve our communities and certainly our America. So we're so grateful for the resources, and thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you. And I loved when I read that you gave the $1,500. I mean, that includes books. Yeah.
That is correct.
Because I know my own students really, you know, they can struggle and pay for the course, but then the books are a couple $100s. So I think what you're doing here is great.
We appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Governor Polis, Care Forward was a signature program that we brought forward last year. And this year, in your budget proposal, you have identified $70 million in targeted funds to help support workforce development. Please share with us your vision for workforce development here in our state.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank you as Speaker, as a leader for your commitment to workforce, and also the Joint Budget Committee, several members are here for your work in all of your We are now working with the legislature through the budget process to expand the zero-cost degrees to a number of other fields, and these are areas like construction, law enforcement, fire management, which is so critical in our state. We've actually had several fires this last weekend with the high winds. So we want to really up the bar on opening doors of opportunity to more people, as well as this innovative program for more flexible scholarship money for graduating seniors. So, of course, we all share the goal of making a four-year degree more affordable. There are other pots of money, and this will add to that to help that cost. But what is harder to find is where the funds are for sort of less conventional programs that allow you to get an education. That can certainly include community colleges, it can include apprenticeships, it can include earn while you learn models. And so we really want to bring something into that kind of workforce innovation in our state, and we're very excited to work with legislative leaders to help make Colorado a leader of workforce readiness.
Majority Leader Moreno. You and I served on the Joint Budget Committee together, and you helped lead the way in the investments with the American Rescue Plan Act dollars for workforce. Can you share a little bit about how those dollars were used here in our state?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Dr. Biden, it's great to welcome you back to Colorado.
Thank you.
I had the pleasure of seeing you last year at the Latin American Education Foundation gala, and you gave a great speech then, so welcome back. I had the honor, before serving as Majority Leader, serving as Chair of the Joint Budget Committee. And the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, I can't emphasize enough what a transformative impact those have on our state. We chose to invest very heavily in workforce, specifically in the medical field, trying to get more nurses online.
Badly needed, right?
Absolutely. But also behavioral health services and affordable housing. That's where Colorado chose to spend the majority of our dollars. I would like to say that I think we're doing it in the right way, and we're doing it in the right order by investing in workforce development, because now you see the infrastructure And so by us investing in workforce now, we're going to actually have the people that we need in order to make those projects and those investments successful. So I think President Biden has done just about the most any other president has done in helping states navigate the pandemic and with the additional dollars, and we can't thank the administration enough.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that back. Thank you.
Senators Lundeen and Bridges, the two of you helped lead the Opportunity Now grant program. How do you envision the scholarship bill that we're moving through the legislature right now really supporting those efforts around regional talent collaboratives?
No, thank you so much. And just, Dr. Biden, I'm a huge fan. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us the chance to brag about the great work we're doing.
No, I love it.
So we worked on this initiative to try and align what is happening in our K-12, our higher education institutions, our job training programs with the needs of the workforce, right? So every Coloradan can earn a good life. And our workforce, our employers have the workforce that they need to fill the jobs that we have. And so as we look at this, you asked a great question. How do we connect those folks in high school to that education that is going to get them to the place where they can earn that good life? And Senator Lundeen and I have for 6 years now in a bipartisan way been working towards getting every Colorado high school kid some kind of associate's degree, certificate, or apprenticeship in a high-skill, high-wage, in-demand program. It should concurrent enrollment, you mentioned. No one knows community college better in Washington than you do. And so getting those kids, getting every kid that experience, not just some kids, but getting every kid in high school that experience is so critical. And we've been working on that. Each one of these bills is just another step in that direction to make sure we have that workforce. And we're going to keep working on it.
Well, thank you, and I really appreciate the fact that you're working together, both sides of the aisle, for the people who you serve. And, you know, that's the way it should be across America, you know, working for Americans.
Happy to say Senator Lundeen is one of my favorite people in the Senate.
Right back at you. Madam First Lady, thanks for being here, welcome to Colorado. I think that there are two elements that I would speak to. One is innovation. We're talking about a lot of innovative policies. But another matter is choice, educational choice. It's the agency of an individual to say, this is what I want my child to do. This is what I want my educational pathway to look like. And inherent in all of these policies is the ability for an individual to pick a path different than the conventional path that may have traditionally been laid out for them. And many of these pieces of legislation also bring the opportunity for alternative providers to step in and say, hey, we can help an individual move forward with their education in a way that might not traditionally be expected, but is allowed for under these pieces of legislation. So innovation and choice, critical elements.
Yeah, I agree.
Excellent. Now, friends of mine from rural parts of the state. I have 6 big counties in my district. You have even more. Representative Martinez and Senator Will. Please talk a little bit about job training and some of our conversation around workforce development and what that looks like or means in rural Colorado.
Well, thank you, Dr. Biden, for coming and hearing us out today. So I'm from the San Luis Valley here, and I worked at Adams State University for 9.5 years as an administrator, and I actually still teach there. And so I think that, you know, rural Colorado is a little bit different, and rural America is a little bit different, but I think, you know, making sure that we're investing in these rural remote institutions and allowing them to diversify, and then I'll echo also what was previously said, but, you know, really allowing students to have that opportunity in the job fields that they want. So, you know, in rural Colorado, that's a lot of agriculture, that's healthcare, manufacturing, education, construction, which is one of the bills that I'm co-sponsoring with the senators previously, because we really feel that that's an investment that we can make not only in those institutions, but in those students, and then there's those students who are going to be able to be employable a lot quicker and really get in the job field a lot quicker. So.
Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't hear it. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor, and it's an honor for me to represent rural Colorado. and I'm on the far western slope of Colorado, representing 7 counties as a senator. And for rural Colorado, we need a skilled workforce.
Yep.
And it's, there's lots of job demands in all the different professions that we talked about and the governor talked about and others have talked about. But the real focus for me has been growing our own. We need to grow our own people within our communities, and that means nurses, that means law enforcement, that means firefighters, the whole gamut, teachers. And if we grow our own in those communities, and this kind of program helps grow our own in our communities, and it's been very successful. And I might say I'm kind of a benefit of that from the community college, and then I went on to a 4-year degree program. But I understand the benefits of this and how it works for rural Colorado. So thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for saying that. And I think you heard Joe when he was on the campaign trail, and he said we are not going to forget, rural America, because they did a lot. We found out through the pandemic they needed broadband. We needed so much to be fixed with the infrastructure. And like you're saying, these small communities are losing hospitals, or they're closing schools. So yes, we have to address the needs of the community, and that's why these kinds of programs are so perfect, I think, for the needs of not only just urban America, but rural America as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move now to the second row. And Representative Wilson, what are you seeing related to the needs for job training, specifically as we talk about the infrastructure funding that is coming, transportation, water, broadband? How do you see that playing out in your district?
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for being here, Dr. Biden. I think a big area we're seeing it right now that some of my communities are struggling in is the water infrastructure and water technology. My district is made up of some smaller communities that are competing for water contractors to complete projects that just aren't available. They're on bigger projects. So those jobs involve a lot of certificate degrees, everything from welding to chemistry, that I think some of these bills that we're working on now will help us get those people working quicker in those areas. Thank you.
And I think people don't realize, I think the young people don't realize, these jobs pay really well. And you're able to, make a living and raise a family on these jobs. So that's what's important.
And Senator Buckner and Assistant Minority Leader Puglisi, if both of you could share why are community colleges so critical in your district to meeting key job training needs, and how is your bill around zero-cost credentials going to help those who need financial supports the most?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and it's such an honor to meet you, First Lady Biden.
Thank you.
I'm Chair of Education, and I want to thank you for always elevating education.
I'm trying.
You're doing it, and together with all of us, we're going to keep elevating education. In my Senate district, community colleges mean just that, the community. I am so excited because we are going to give opportunity to so many people who didn't have opportunity before, because unfortunately, sometimes money means that you don't have that opportunity. So opening up that opportunity to pay for tuition, to pay for books, not have to worry about where your money is going. If you can't pay your bills, how are you going to pay your tuition? So this is going to make a huge difference. And also, community is just that. Growing, refreshing, making sure that those jobs that are available to the constituents in my community. So that opportunity gives me even more desire to lift up this legislation that we're passing.
And I think it's the way of the future. All these jobs, right?
Yes, it is. It is. And those on-demand jobs, we can fill those positions with students being able to have access. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is an honor to serve with you. And thank you, First Lady, for being with us today. We really appreciate it. I take a different perspective on education because I'm a first-generation American and also a first-generation college graduate. And so increasing access to college and opportunities, especially in the community colleges, which are the backbone of our communities, is really important to me. And it's what drives me to work on legislation with the speaker that helps to open up those educational opportunities throughout all of Colorado. So in my district, it's an incredibly urban district. We have very strong resources, but I also lived in rural communities and really worked on connecting workforce centers and community colleges to be that one-stop shop for our students. And so I think it's incredibly important that we're using our taxpayer funds in a way that's appropriate and helps leverage the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, which are also taxpayer funds, in a way that's really responsible and helping to lift these students up so that they can be in demand workforce needs. So thank you for this opportunity to share those experiences with you.
Well, thanks, and you're such a role model too, being first generation. I mean, like you said, most of my students are first generation, and we have to give them opportunity. You know, that's what they're looking for, is opportunity. It looks like here in Colorado, you're just doing a great job at it. Thank you.
Dr. Biden, I have a few additional questions for our enthusiastic group here today, but also want to give you the opportunity if there are any questions you have.
Well, I'd like to hear from some of the students here, like what has this meant for them? Would any of the students be willing to share their story with us?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Biden. My name is Carly Asman, and I am an EMT firefighter, and I received my EMT through Arapahoe Community College through the Cares Forward grant. And I am currently pursuing my paramedic prep certification, which will allow me to go onto paramedic school, hopefully next fall. I have received upwards of $6,000 from the Cares Forward grant, and it has been an immense blessing for me. Like we had mentioned before, it allows me to not worry about getting food on the table and paying my car bill in order to get to class and things like that. And it allows me to focus on what I want to do as a career and not have to worry so much about where my next paycheck is coming from, making sure that I'm able to afford what I need to afford. So the Cares Forward grant has been a huge, huge blessing for me, and I encourage everyone who's looking into EMT or healthcare or whatever else may be covered by future legislation that they look into community college and they look for those jobs, because it's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, we should send you into the high schools. Seriously.
Sure.
Any other student want to tell us their story? All right, is it? Hard to see in the back. You want to stand up? Hi.
Hi there. Nice to meet you, Ms. Biden.
Nice to meet you.
I appreciate you coming out to Colorado. Thank you. Sorry for stop speaking the mic. I'm not much of a public speaker.
Well, let's hope it won't be the last.
So I have a very similar story. Coming up, it was phenomenal just to receive this money, have that weight off my chest for bills, rent, food, everything. What I really want to speak to is I'm hearing a lot about jobs and community and how much it is benefiting, our state and our country overall, and I think that's phenomenal. But I think my place here is to speak to the fact that it's so much more than that. I think a lot of, especially young Americans, have become disenfranchised to really the community and the support they have, and I don't feel like a lot of people feel supported, and I think this bill on a very personal, individual level provides a lot of hope. It provides equality of opportunity, which is, I think, what we need as a country. Just the opportunity to give it your best, and I think a lot of people are missing that in their lives, and I think that education is a huge, huge factor in that, and will help a lot of people. I appreciate everything that Governor Polis and this administration has done.
Well, thank you. And I think that the young people that, see things that they're not really happy about with, they're seeing that they think the country is divided. I mean, look at right here in Colorado that we see that, both sides of the aisle are working together and it can be done. So I hope that gives young people hope to say, hey, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be divided. People can work together. So who's this next young woman?
All right, hello, my name is Katarina Campbell, and I am a student at the Community College of Aurora. So I have recently completed my nurse aid certification program.
Good for you, congratulations.
Thank you. And actually my program inspired me to go into nursing. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for the Care Forward Act because that really gave me the opportunity to do the nurse aid program. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We obviously have a few here, but over 1,000 students in the very first year benefited from Forward Colorado. We couldn't fit them all in here, I'm sorry. Just real briefly on related topics, we mentioned first generation. All of our programs also support Dreamers and first generation. We want to encourage, of course, and we did that in a bipartisan way before my time years ago, in state tuition for residents. We certainly support the Biden administration's work to provide a pathway and more certainty for those who, we're happy to invest in their de facto Coloradans, but we want them to be here, but we hope that there's a way to do that with more stability and make sure that their status is cemented as the Coloradans and Americans that they are, so we encourage you to bring that back as well.
I will, and I have to say, we saw through the pandemic how important nurses are, right, in our communities, and how much they meant and how many lives they saved. And there they were, frontline workers, every single day going on into work. And it was really, really hard for so many people. So, we always say that the nurses are the angels here on earth, so thank you for choosing nursing.
So I want to give our First Lady a moment to close out, but I want to emphasize something that I just heard about how these programs, these dollars are providing hope. I do think during the pandemic, the Great Resignation, the Big Quit, a lot of people struggled to find their way forward, and so many Coloradans and Americans have chosen new pathways, new careers. And I think we are capturing, the hearts and minds of students, certainly in our public schools, but also for adults who are transitioning into a new field. And I'm excited to see what's happening here, and hopefully we can be a bit of a beacon in how programs and innovation can influence workforce development across our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I just want to say thank you all for being here. You're doing the right thing. I mean, we all learned through the pandemic, it was so hard to get through, but we learned some important lessons, and we learned what we value and who we value. And certainly that's our young people, and I know that through, teaching at the community college. I mean, it's been such a great career for me. And so I want to thank you all for seeing the problem and for addressing it. And really, like you're saying, Julie, giving hope to the young people, and really people coming back for careers too. So thank you for giving hope and being so inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate the time for our conversation, and we have to see you off to yet another state.
I think you all have to get to work too, don't you?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.